you guys get a win over the weekend, a big win, too, over Kalamazoo, where you guys just kind of torched them. 7-3 was the score there. So let's go through that game a little bit first. What did you guys do well in that game that maybe hasn't been happening in the games leading up to that?
Well, it definitely was a dominating performance by our team, and we controlled the play and got some breaks around the net, which we have not got probably in a month. But pucks were going in, through screenshots that the goalie didn't see. Pucks were bouncing off our chest down onto our stick that we just shot in the empty net, and we scored some nice goals. But we were up 1-0, and then Kalamazoo responded with 2 goals. And usually when that happens, our team falls apart. Mm-hmm. But it didn't happen that time. Murray made a great steal off a defenseman and tied it 2-2 at the end of the first. And then, we controlled the second period, 2-0 in the second, so we're up 4-2. And we're staying behind the bench waiting for the comeback to happen. And it just never did. Our guys poured it on. I think scored 3 in a row, made it 7-2 or 6-2. They made it 6-3 near the end, pulled their goalie, and we got an empty net goal. So it was, the guys really, it was the best performance that under me that the team has had. And like I said, we got some breaks, and we haven't been getting those. And right. Those help. I mean, and it seemed like they all came flooding into us in one game. So it was nice to see.
And what was the reaction in the locker room after that game? I mean, obviously it had been a while since you guys had been able to put one in the win column. Was there some relief? Was there
I think it was jubilation? It was a huge celebration and jubilation. The guys were relieved. On one hand, getting the monkey off their back, and I'm sure just proud of their efforts and celebrated, and we had a few beers on the way home, and it was great.
And I got to think that kind of stuff. You get those kind of wins that proves to those guys that they can go out and win hockey games, despite maybe the record going into it and how the team has performed since the early part of the year there. That I think that probably goes a long way to show them that it gives them that confidence boost that is probably something they need at this time.
Yeah, we needed, because our tails were between our legs after the past month, and being on the road, and to win that game in Kalamazoo, against a third-place team that's in the playoffs and, playing well. They beat Reading the night before, which is the top team, one of the top teams in the ECHL. And to go out and just spank them in their own building on, Cancer Night when there's a big crowd there was very satisfying for me as a coach, and I'm sure relief for our players.
Mm-hmm. Well, how's the goaltending working out thus far? This was your road trip now, the last week without Dredge, who moved up. How's that void being filled?
Com came back to us, and he was here earlier in the year and won a starting job in training camp, and I certainly see why he won that job, because in Cincinnati he was lights out and kept Cincinnati off the board till I think 5 minutes into the third period, and gave us a chance to get points in Cincinnati, and then sprained his ankle the last play of the game in Cincinnati. And, went into Kalamazoo after a couple days rest, and, his ankle was still bothering him a bit, but, he's just a calming influence back there. I think, he makes the saves you need him to make at the right time in the game, and he doesn't give up many rebounds. And I think our team felt, they had confidence in the guy behind them and coming up with the saves when we need them, and he's provided that. So, we're looking forward to Comer going again tomorrow night. We're not sure when Dredge will be back. Ottawa said possibly this week, but we'll just have to see. But, Comer's come in and done the job, and, it's his to lose now.
So there is a chance you'll get Dredge back at some point, that the move up to Ottawa not necessarily permanent.
No, it isn't. No, I think you'll see Dredge back within a week.
Okay. Ford and O'Brien, ESPN Evansville 105.3 and online, ESPNEvansville.com, joined with Coach Al Sims from the Evansville IceMen, his weekly segment in the Crease. And it wouldn't be a segment, Coach, if we didn't talk about some roster moves, because that has been kind of the mantra here. And you've been very open about it over the last couple of weeks, and the amount of moves that need to be made and will continue to be made to get the team that you need to execute your system. The news comes down yesterday that you guys have basically swapped leading scorers with the South Carolina Stingrays, where you sent a name and a player that had been very productive for the IceMen, Brandon Wong, over to South Carolina in exchange for Braden Pym. Kind of maybe take us through how that all came down and what kind of player are you getting in Pym?
Well, ever since we played in South Carolina, Spencer Carberry and I, their coach, have been in touch and, talking about different players, different deals that we could do. And, I liked Pym when I saw him play in South Carolina. He's a younger version of Brandon Wong. Obviously, I think he has one more point than Brandon, or very similar scoring-wise. But, he's a young kid. He's 25 years old versus Brandon at 28. And, I think he brings that youth, that enthusiasm. He's a rookie, and to put up 35 points so far, 36 points in his rookie season, this kid, has a future in front of him. And, we're hoping that he's going to be with us not only the end of this year, but next year as well. And, he's part of the building blocks for the future for us. And, you can't, it's tough to build with 28, 29, 30-year-olds. You want to bring in some young kids that are trying to get to the next level. And Brandon's a pro with Ottawa. This kid's a pro with Washington. And, we're looking forward to helping Braden with his game and getting him to where he wants to get to.
So you've brought up before in the past when you got into town about wanting to make this roster a little younger. And I think one of the ways you put it was you have two types of players in minor league sports, period, hockey, football, whatever it is. You've got the ones playing for a paycheck and the ones playing for a step up.
Right.
And is that basically what this trade's all about, just getting younger and getting a guy that's playing for that next level?
Yeah, definitely. I think, Braden wants a chance at the American Hockey League level, and we want to provide that for him, and he'll still be with Hershey, the Hershey Bears in the American League. And, if he gets a call up, that's great. It only helps me for recruitment for next year. But I think more importantly, Braden's a guy who is a top scorer and would be a top scorer for us next year if he comes back to Evansville, and we will have his rights. So, we're looking forward to Braden and seeing what he brings to the table here. But he is a scorer, good skater, and has a great shot, and very slippery player. He escapes trouble in the corners and gets pucks to the net, and is very good that way. So, we're looking forward to working with him.
You guys also add Justin McDonald, who comes in from the Watertown Wolves of the FHL. Tell us a little bit about Justin, how you acquired him, what his style of play brings to the team.
Well, I think, we're looking for offense, and looking at Justin's stats, everybody can see what he's done this year. He's over 100 points in 40-something games, and over 40 goals. And, regardless of what level you're playing at, when you put up those type of statistics, it's got to say something about you. And, he's 60 points or 50 points ahead of the next guy. Sure. So, obviously, this kid has something. And us watching him in practice just the last couple of days, excuse me, he's, shown how quick he is, and we're not a very fast team, and this kid will bring a lot of speed to our lineup. He's got very good hands and a very good shot. He's been looking for this opportunity. He actually played for Gary Graham, my assistant coach in Fort Wayne, for a championship in Pensacola, and was a fill-in for them, a third-line guy. But Gary told me a lot about him, and before we went out and got his immigration done and everything for him. But, we want to give this kid an opportunity for 4 or 5 games and see what he brings. And, I think it's going to be up to the players he plays with. I think if he plays with average players, he may not do as well. But if he plays with a couple of good players, he could light the lamp for us. And that's what we're looking for. We're looking to get to 4 goals every game, and Justin hopefully will provide this offense for us, along with Braden Pym.
Talking with Evansville IceMen head coach Al Sims, joining us for his weekly segment In the Crease. It's Ford and O'Brien, ESPN Evansville 105.3 and online, ESPNEvansville.com. With all these roster moves you guys have made over the last month, 6 weeks or so, how have those guys that you've brought in, how have they, I guess, maybe assimilated to the style of play, guys like Frazee and those kinds of guys? Because, I understand that this kind of stuff happens a lot at this level. Your guys are moving all the time, but at some point they've got to come together and be cohesive. How's that worked out so far?
I think it's been real good. Frazee's, got some points here. I think 6 and 9 games. I think Sudek has really been the surprise for me. He's provided a lot of offense for us, especially goal-wise on the power play. Regular shift, he scores almost every other game, so he's been great for us. But those two guys provide some size, some physicality, face-off wins, and both can kill penalties and play the power play. So they've both been an impact on our hockey team. And I think we went through that stretch with playing with 13, 14 guys, and that obviously hurt last weekend. But we're back to full strength now, and I think the win in Kalamazoo is going to do wonders for the confidence of the guys and putting the puck in the net.
Well, you head to Fort Wayne tomorrow, and that's your old stomping grounds. You got some banners hanging from the rafters there, so it's not a bad thing to roll into,
Yeah.
But at the same time, a good hockey team. Very good hockey team over there. What are some of the things that you're going to have to focus on, slow down on their end, do better on your end to get out of there with a win?
Yeah, we've had problems with turnovers against Fort Wayne, and we can't turn the puck over the way we have in the past. There's going to be turnovers in the game by both teams, but Fort Wayne's a little bit better at converting their turnovers than we are. And if we control the puck and take care of the puck like we've been telling them to, and practicing and preaching, and like we did in Kalamazoo. We played more on their end of the ice than we played in our own end, and that's the key to success for us is keeping the other team in the offensive zone. That's a fun part of the game. That's the offensive part of the game. The defensive zone is hard work, and the least amount of time we can spend in our zone, the better, especially against a team like Fort Wayne.
Coverage of that game begins here at 6:15 on ESPN Evansville 105.3. You can also catch it online, ESPNEvansville.com. Coach Al Sims, weekly segment in the Crease, talking some Evansville IceMen hockey. Coach, best of luck in Fort Wayne. I know you guys, I think you get to come home here soon for a pretty long stretch of games, so that must be nice. And we appreciate the time as always.
All right, thanks, guys.